Hello everyone and welcome to another, Ben 10 video, and today we're going to be talking about Quinn's transformations. And if you don't know Quinn or anything like that, just go to the video right here. Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to be talking about specifically 10 of Quinn's transformations. Some of these are going to be reappearing, aliens that you guys have seen before, but a little bit different, or new aliens specifically for, Quinn. So let's just get right into the, aliens, why don't we? Of course, we are going to be going in order of when I actually made the art. Of course, they're not made by me. They're made by the, artists in the description and at the end of the video. So if you want to see them, go check them out. But the first one that I'm going to go over first is Inferno, aka my version or Quinn's version of Heat Blast. Now, originally his flames were supposed to be technically blue, but I made a mistake, with the artist, and I just kind of kept it purple, and it kind of just was a continuing scheme with a lot of the aliens, weirdly enough. Of course, since he is a fully evolved Pyronite, he is, well, able to manipulate and control fire at a greater degree than a normal Pyronite or even normal Heat Blast can. But I'm only going to go over specifically the stuff that Heat Blast does not have that he does gain while in this transformation. One of them is full, temperature control, as in not just he can control his own heat, but also the heat around in his area and can even absorb said heat. This also extends into another pseudo power that he can do, is that if he essentially sucks in all of the heat within an area extremely quickly, he can essentially flash freeze the entire area. He will be fine, obviously, but anyone else around him, not so much. Though, granted, this power is very hard to aim, so usually whenever he would use it, he would just freeze an entire area. I think it's something similar to that of Bobby Drake from, the Iceman. He could do something similar, but instead of, absorbing heat, it's literal ice, but yeah, whatever. Also, he can do the fire constructs just like regular heat blast, but his are a lot more put together and, can stay together. He mainly does it to make giant fire hands for the most part. Next one I'm going to be going over is his Tetraman transformation called Tetra. Yes, I'm very creative, thank you. But anyway, going immediately into her, of course, just like Heat Blast, fully evolved Tetramand. The reason why Quinn's, Tetramand is female instead of male is because normally females are stronger than males. So a fully evolved, like max evolved, strongest Tetramand would be a female by extension. But anyway, to go over the powers that, she has that Forearms does not have, or any Tetraman for that matter, is that for one, she can store the kinetic energy, of her punches, within her muscles. Of course, this means, well, there's a limit. There's like a physical limit to how much she can absorb, and she can also be blindsided, uh, similar to Chromostone. He can be blindsided and be attacked by, stuff that he can absorb. Of course, she also has an extended ability that also, lessens the load of this, ability, and that being muscle control. She can essentially make muscle fibers or extra muscle fibers that basically bulks up her arms or any other muscle on her body, and allows her to, take in more of that kinetic energy. Although, of course, just like the other power, this has limits as well. Next one is Viscat, and this one is actually connected to two polymorphs because, well, this guy is a monomorph. Monomorphs are essentially like related to polymorphs, but of course, as you can tell by their name, poly meaning multiple and mono meaning like one, they cannot shapeshift, or at least not to the same extent that regular polymorphs can. The one difference is that they can essentially just they're very stretchy, kind of like Mr. Fantastic or Luffy, for an example. That's like their whole thing, and they do have similar powers like regular polymorphs like acidification and stuff, and they're very squishy to a certain extent and can solidify themselves to a certain extent. Um, of course, if you're wondering, well, why is it a cat or whatever? That's because whenever they're usually very young, the species themselves, whenever they look at a certain thing, they kind of just morph into that instinctually due to them being related to you know, polymorphs. But after that happens, it's like permanent. Like they can't shapeshift back. That's what they'll look like. So most of the time they try to keep their kids from seeing anything, and the kid themselves gets to pick what they want to look like. Of course, with Quinn, that's not the case because, well, he looked at a cat and, well, the rest is history. The next one is an original alien based off of the main character of the Witch's Throne called Alchemight, based off of like alchemists and stuff. And the reason why is because just like the main character from that webcomic, she can, of course, make little balls of goo that do different things. Of course, they can explode or whatever in fire or just set a flame or whatever if it's like really small. Or it can, like, for example, set things and turn things to ice and just shoot little, like, ice pellets, I guess, at people or whatever, depending on how they use it. Um, there's also technically healing goo that they can also use or whatever, similar to Agnes potions. But the difference between that is that it's just like kind of like a gel, a healing gel. Other than that, she doesn't really have anything else other than like slight, underwater breathing, or well, slight on their planet. On anywhere else, they can breathe underwater just fine, and on it, breathe air just fine. And also, they can swing around with their little goob things like Spider-Man if they want to. And yes, it dissolves after a little while when it's not within close contact of their bodies. So, yeah, that's it. The next one is one that you definitely know about, and that is a Toku star, that being Gigantum, or I guess Ben's would be way, way big. But anyway, of course, he has the normal stuff that way big has, just pretty much the whole shebang. But the only difference is that he actually has size changing. You're probably wondering, oh, like, so he can get human size? No, he can get way big size. Yeah, you heard me that you heard me right. He is actually much bigger than Way Big is. Actually, around this big. So, yeah. Yeah, he's pretty big. He also has a pretty gaseous form while he's in there, but can solidify certain parts of his body's, or body to attack or anything like that. But other than that, doesn't really have that much, to him. He's pretty simple. Next is his ectoneurite transformation, Geist, and I'm gonna be honest, you can literally just look at Zscare's page or whatever his wiki. He pretty much has everything that Zscare has. He's got the ecto beam or whatever that is that he can do, telekinesis, of course, his claws. He can phase through stuff, become invisible, the whole shebang. The only thing he wouldn't have, or at least he would, but then would not get later, would be turning people into ectoneurites and controlling them. He can't do that. Scare can still do that in the Omegatrix universe, but whatever. We'll talk about him a different time, maybe. I'll talk about that at the end of the video. Next alien is Radiate, and this is supposed to be NRG. And you're probably wondering, wait, why doesn't he have his containment suit? Well, that's because, well, he doesn't need it. In this higher evolved form, he essentially doesn't radiate his, radiation unless he absolutely wants to or when he's using his power. So, for the most part, he tries to control and ventilate his powers to only be directed towards his enemies and stuff like that. Of course, he has all of the normal powers for, NRG, so I don't really have to go anything new other than the, containment suit thing. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. The next transformation is Blarehound, which is his Leboan transformation. And with him, his new powers, just not going over the ones that you guys probably already know, um, he actually gets an extra power where he kind of gets a boost depending on the moon phase. Now, this also depends on, what planet he's on, but on Earth, here are like the normal powers he gets. He gets a good sense of direction, so he knows where he is at all times. He has a certain regeneration or, you know, healing factor or whatever. It's not an insane healing factor, but it's still a healing factor. Um, he also can kind of sense or share his empathy or his emotions with other people, or vice versa. This usually only works with Leboans, but there could be special occasions. Um, and he also has a sort of danger sense as well. So, yeah, he also gets like a little bit physically stronger depending on the moon phases as well. But again, it's not like an insane amount. It's just like an extra little thing that, I decided to give him because why not? I mean, why not? He's also my favorite transformation. So, yeah, you know why. The next transformation is Fayetasy. It's very hard to say, but I really like the name. Of course, as you can see, this is the Nemuina, or, it's a Nemuina transformation. And of course, with being a Nemuina, I mean, I don't really have to explain much with them, though they do have more control over dreams, just like normal Nemuinas can like put people to sleep with their, little dust that they can throw out. Uh, he can still do that. And also, you know, he can control the dreams technically, like way better than usual, as like a weird Freddy Krueger type thing going on. So, yeah. And the last transformation for this video is Axoloud. And no, his power does not have to do with sonic abilities like Echo Echo or, Blitzwolf or anything like that. His power is essentially, well, both regeneration. He's got very good regeneration, like insane regeneration, and those little bone parts that you see on his body, he can basically just kind of shing them out like giant swords or whatever, and he can change them to whatever part on his body he can, just any part of his body. Though granted, he can only spread out two at a time because he only has two. But anyway, that's mainly his main power. He's very acrobatic and all of that, and he is supposed to be based off of Deadpool, which is why he's called Axoloud, because he doesn't shut up while he's in the transformation. That's his like little quirk, I guess you could say, with the transformation, his personality. And the reason why I based him off of Deadpool is because he lives on the same planet as Apoplexians, or Wrath's species. And since Wrath is supposed to be based off of Wolverine, I think you can understand where I came from. So, yeah, that's pretty much their whole deal. So I don't have to explain much else. So that's it. And yeah, that's all of the transformations that I have like full art for, or at least at the moment. I'll probably have more, but it'll be a while until I do another one of these videos or whatever. Uh Personally, even if I had like another 10, I probably won't do this again for my own personal reasons. But anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. It was basically me just yapping about these guys, but I tried to not just go too in depth or whatever, because then there'd be way more just small intervals of, nothing and just me yapping. I mean, that was the whole point of this video anyway. It was just gonna be me yapping. Anyway, I hope you guys liked the video. Do give it a like, like the video. And I also hope you guys subscribe if you guys want to see more stuff. And if you want to see the artists that made these, these pieces of art, go down to the description. They should be down there. I will also write down which art they have done. So I'll put all their socials and stuff, down there. So go check them out. They're really good artists. Uh, they've done a really good job. Um, my other socials are also down there right below, the artists. So if you want to go check that stuff out, Patreon, uh, Blue Sky, Tumblr, which I'll probably be posting a lot of my Omegatrix stuff, as well as a certain other AU or other AUs that I might think of for Ben 10, just go down there. So, yeah, hope you guys like the video, and that will be all.